Hello, and welcome to Why I Love Warhammer, the series where I go into an unscripted ramble about why I love something in this hobby. And on this episode, it's the Beasts of Chaos, the Gors and Ungors and other various ores of, chaotic beasts, used to be known as the Beastmen back in fantasy days. Um, and yeah, they're just these really cool kind of Minotaur Centaur-like things. So as we always do on this series, I'm going to go through some of my favourite looking models in the range and focusing on the models here because rules change, but models always look cool. So here we've got the classic Beast Lord model. I just think the double axes are really awesome. He's got a good pose on him, and he's got the Minotaur thing down. Like this is what Theseus would have fought in that labyrinth, right? It's classic Minotaur. It's a bit fawnish as well with the legs, but yeah, this to me is the Minotaur. Okay, these models are these Gors or Ungors? They're they're weird. They're bestial, and yeah, they're just very they're just peculiar. Um, so okay, now these ones are the Ungors. So yeah, the most man-like, and yeah, they're a bit weaker, but they're battle line and they're cheap chaff. They've got your classic, kind of very rudimentary, very berserkery equipment, and yeah, they're just neat looking battle line guys. Okay, and now these guys are which ones are these guys? They're not. Are these just your regular Ungors? So these are yeah, I think these are just one. These ones just the regular Gors. Kind of as before, they've got that cow-like Minotaur, goat-like aesthetic. Oh, no, Bestigors. That's what these ones are. So yeah, these are like the biggest guys, the two-handed axes, and I love axes. That's kind of why these guys are here. I love this horn thing at the top, with this guy on the far left, and yeah, they're just really well posed. But you'd be forgiven for thinking they were all unique, but then you realise that these two have the same mouth, so they're clearly customizable, and you'd be able to field a fair whack of them without it feeling too repetitive. Okay, and then these guys are the I think these guys are Ungor Raiders, and they're just I think these guys are really cool. I love this little banner. They're a bit more bestial, I guess, because they look a little bit less humanoid despite not having as prominent a horn. Yeah, their horns aren't quite as prominent as the others, but they're still but they're still looking somehow less human than the other ones. And then okay, these guys are just your classic Gauls. These are your main battle line unit, and yeah, just classic Minotaur like models. They've got cool set of weapons. This guy's my favorite. He's got the axe in one hand and the defensive stance for a blade in the other. But yeah, classic Minotaur like models, and they've got a good amount of fur, which is fun to paint. I'm personally not a fan of painting human-like skin, so if you see someone who's painted this up, know that they already have my respect. If you already play this army, oh my god, how do you do it? You are an absolute hero if you can paint beastmen like this. Okay, now these guys are Bulgors. So yeah, the Bulgors here. Now, once again, kind of one step more beast-like, one step less human-like, and yeah, this complete shield wall breaking creatures, and you can see it from how they're posed and how they're modelled. Uh, Lore wise, these guys are kind of they're trying to consume blood and flesh and stuff, which that comes across. I mean, maybe if I had some of my own, I'd probably try and paint some blood like things on the teeth to kind of bring that home. But overall, just stunning model that really conveys this unit that's designed to just break the wall, break the model, break your opponent's shield wall. Just glorious. Okay, these guys, the Chaos Warhounds. This is my favorite unit in the range, just because they're just like these giant bulldog, like bull/dogs, and I think that's just a really cool thing. Having these guys stampeding across the battlefield would be terrifying and intimidating. I love how they do the glowing eyes, and yeah, just gloriously, these mutated dogs in chaos form. It's brilliant. To be honest, when I first found out that years ago, when I first found out that the Beastmen were becoming beasts of chaos and being put into Grand Alliance chaos rather than like Grand Alliance destruction, it didn't make a lot of sense to me. But with the way the models have developed, the way the laws panned out, it fits to me. In my view, it definitely fits. Okay, it's Sangor. I think I had to respect these guys being placed in this faction because, as someone who mostly plays 40k, seeing these guys are the Thousand Suns chaff unit. So these guys having a genuine place in Age of Sigmar, I think is really important. That these guys, they've still got the Bray keyword, even in settings where Bray doesn't mean that much. So these guys in the Beasts of Chaos list, brilliant. Does mean you're a bit, I guess, to the untrained eye, your opponent's going to think, oh, look at all these siege symbols. This is a siege army, even though the Beasts of Chaos aren't typically aligned to a specific Chaos god. This does lean it in a specific direction. But these guys are really cool anyway. These kind of bird-like beaks. They still got the Minotaur-like horns, but these guys earn their place in the Beasts of Chaos range. More Zangor again on the discs. I think that's really cool. Adds a bit of gravitas, demonstrates the spellcasting nature of them. And your Zangor, your Zangor leader, the what's his name again? Shaman, just Zangor Shaman. I know there'll be sword fighting channels on the internet who will tell you that carrying your blade like this, reverse grip, is a terrible idea. And maybe it's true in every halfway realistic context that a reverse grip doesn't work. Reverse grip does look really cool. And it looks really cool here. And Zangor having a place, I'm very happy for the Zangor to have a place, and I love it in the Beast of Chaos range. It fits in my view. Chaos Spawn. So, when Age of Sigmar was first pitched to me, it was pitched as, oh, you can play the same army in 40k and Age of Sigmar. It's Chaos Demons. The demons can be played in both. And these Chaos Spawn, that's one of them. I think these guys are really interesting. They unnerve me in the way that they're designed to. I think this guy in the foreground reminds me of that Real Monsters Nickelodeon cartoon from back in the 90s. The eyes being lower down than the mouth. It's scary in the best possible way. They're wicked fast on the tabletop at time of writing. They move at. I'm getting the sheet up. I'm getting Beast of Chaos Spawn. So in Age of Sigmar they move 3d6 inches. So that's anywhere between 3 and 18 inches. It's insanity how fast these guys are capable of moving. This guy is always my general when I mock up a list. Just the classic Beast Lord. He's cool, classic, all fluff. He's all goat all the time with 2 axes and good armor. Just a classic Games Workshop sculpt that, in my view, this stands the test of time. There's a certain element of power and gravitas to this model that is needed in your general. He's not overstating anything. He's just being a cool leader model. Okay, I had to include the Jabberlife. It's a Jabberwocky. Like Beasts of Chaos, they don't have to be all Minotaurs all the time. You can have the Lewis Carroll Jabberwock in your army. That's glorious. I love how It's so many different things. A scorpion-like tail pose with an ankylosaurus end, bat-like, dragon-like wings, the Beastmen Minotaur-like horns, but there's more of them, Squigoth-like head, Xenomorph-like tongue. Some legs are insecty, some legs are more dinosaur-y mammalian. It's got the shaggy mane of a lion. Everything about this monstrosity is glorious, and it somehow works together. Somehow this looks like a coherent model to me, even though it's so many different aspects of different things. And I think that's a huge, huge props to the sculptors for doing that right. And I think that it's just a really fantastic little behemoth to have on your team in your Beasts of Chaos army. Chaos Gargant. I love the Gargants. Gargants were like the second Age of Sigmar episode I did on this channel. And having a Chaos aligned one for your Beasts of Chaos army, brilliant. I think they're really cool. It's a fun challenge if you're like me and have struggled painting skin tones. Good sets of weaponry. I love the fact he's just holding a big rock and he's just using it as a smashing weapon. It reminds me of the Batman the Animated Series where Killer Croc says, "And then I threw a rock at him." That's a really terrible impression. I'm aware. I can't do impressions. It's just, yeah, classic. He's lumbering. He's undeniably still Chaos. He's got the Beasts of Chaos-like feet now. The horns growing out of his head. But he's still undeniably a Gargant. And I love that he's in this army. I love how varied the Beasts of Chaos army is. Yeah, and then these guys who are kind of very centaur-like, but they're dragon ogres. So they're kind of centaurs, but where it's half man, half dragon. Which, you know, that's not represented enough. And I love the interplay between the two. And yeah, they look very psychotic. I feel like if I were to redesign these, I'd probably try and make them more graceful because, so, origin of centaurs, right? Weird history lesson was there were ancient horse riders, and they were viewed as being so in tune with their horse, such proficient riders, that you couldn't tell where the person ended and the horse began. So that led to this notion of the half human, half horse. I feel like I'd love to see this in dragon rider form, where you've got these very elegant dragon riders as the torsos and then dragons as the base. But that wouldn't really fit in the Beasts of Chaos army. The dragon ogres, they fit in the Beasts of Chaos army, and they're glorious. The dragon-like scales with these hulking brutes with these terrifying weapons, glorious. Long may they reign in Beasts of Chaos. When we get a new sculpt for another army, which are more elegant, but long may these guys live in Beasts of Chaos. Okay, and then this guy I just could not include. That's a weird way of phrasing it. But the Cygor. Yeah, the Cygor. I get the Cygor and the Gorgon mixed up a little bit in my head, but I love this guy. He's full cow. He's terrifying. Those soulless eyes and the big rock that's being overgrown, and they're doing the jade thing a little bit with it. And I love how Games Workshop do the Age of Sigmar magic stones. I think this guy's a phenomenal model and terrifying to come up against on the field, right? I think he's just glorious, and I'm so happy that he's in the range. Again, the Centaurs, just classic old world sculpt, still on their square bases, yay. And yeah, just classic. They've got primitive weapons, which works for them. You know, they've got the centaur thing kind of down, but they're not fully horses. They've got slightly more mammalian feet. You know, well, not mammalian, horses are mammals, do they? But yeah, slightly more beast-like feet that I think it's nice. It makes them different to just a centaur. So yeah, very, very nice sculpts, and happy for them to be in the range. I also like the implied dynamic between these two on the end, where this guy's scowling and this guy's a bit indignant. Like this guy's made a toilet humor joke, and then this guy's not really approved of that type of humor. It's just fun. And yeah, it's a deeply narrative game at its heart, so having little narrative character dynamics like that, it feels like part of the game. This chariot, it's mostly here for these guys. I think they're kind of cute. I love the fluffiness of this guy. Both of them are fluffy. This guy's face reminds me of Donkey from Shrek. This guy's just fluffy. I think it's neat. What can I say? Sometimes I like my cuteness. Okay, and then this one's the Gorgon, which is all terrifying all the time. Stark contrast to what I just said. He's awesome. Look at the number of arms. Look at the blades on them. It's like these two arms are just blades. These arms have blades. Rocking down the field, slicing everything. Glorious. Terrifying and glorious. How many of these can you guys can be running a list? Like, yeah, yeah, they are. Yeah, they're behemoths, so you can technically have up to 4, I think, in an army. And yeah, you'd be hard pressed to pick just 4 because there are 5 really awesome behemoths in the Beast of Chaos range, and you can only run up to 4. So even if you ran no duplicates, you still have to pick one to not have. This guy again, I think, is an awesome looking sculpt. I think that he's just very, yeah, the Doom Blood. He's just very powerful looking. So much armor, huge axe. That axe is probably bigger than me, and it's this hulking brute who's still undeniably zippy. He's 7-inch move, and just an insane character to plonk down. It's the he's powerhouse, absolute powerhouse. This guy, and he looks it. He looks like the powerhouse he is. The cockatrice. This would be the big thing I'd love to run as many of as I could. I just think they're beautiful. I think it's a really fun sculpt. They've got a really good mix of the animals right, and it looks as horrifying as it should be, but while still being beautiful. The feathers of the bird-like aspects, and the snake-like tail with the scorpion end, and this weird fleshiness to make it just look a little bit disturbing. Just everything about this model, I think, is gloriously done. Again, everything I said about the dragon ogres, equally true for this guy, right? The dragon ogre Shaggoth, huge double-bladed axe held in 2 hands, proper classic wooden handle. He's got these T-Rex-like arms, gloriously dinosaur-like legs and tail, while still having the centaur thing. A bit confused as to what these 2 little guys are doing on top. Just hitching a ride, I guess. It's interesting, adds a bit of character, suggests a bit of caring, adds a bit of society to the model. But honestly, can't fault this thing at all. It's huge and imposing like it should be. The endless spells, I think the bull is the bull is really cool. It's flaming bull. The horn's interesting, and the bird swarms are what I'm really here for. Endless spells are so well done in Age of Sigmar. I think they're just really well placed. I'm glad they reduced the points cost to, at time of writing, at 4th of March 2024. Endless spells are 0 points, which is good. I feel like that's a good move to make them free. But yeah, I think they look really interesting, and yeah, the buffs they can provide are good. And I think it makes for a varied game. This terrain piece is basically here because at Christmas 2023 they turned this thing into a penguin, which was hilarious to me, and I can't unsee it. It's a penguin. I can't see it as anything other than a penguin now. And so yeah, I love it for that reason. Probably the wrong reason, but still my reason. And with that, we come to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Do you love the Beasts of Chaos? Do you not love them? If so, tell me why you love them. If you're not a fan, tell me why you're not a fan. And yeah, I love everything I showed you here. I think that they are a glorious model range. I think they add something to the lore. There's a deep kind of culture to them, and that they very much earned their place as part of the Chaos Grand Alliance. If you want to like the video, I'd really appreciate that. If you want to hit the subscribe for more unbridled positivity in your feed, I'd really appreciate that too. Patreon in the description, membership's now open, all that good stuff. Comment question of the day is, what kind of design for a Beast of Chaos would you want added to the range? It's a lot of fantasy era models, so what would you want added to the range for kind of the next battle tome, as it were? With that, I hope you're all having a really good day. I will see you next time, and yeah, so long.